Hello, Gibson Gators. This is Mrs. Pei, principal at Viola Gibson, and I just want to take a few minutes to share what it will look like when you come back to school this year. Notice that all of our staff and students will be wearing masks and or shields that have been provided by our Cedar Rapids Community District Foundation. And it might be a great idea also, parents, if you think about purchasing an additional mask so that you can rotate those out in between cleanings. So students will really be encouraged this year and taught about social distancing, and we will need our parents to educate students as well before they even come to school. Our arrival procedure this year will be similar to last year's with some slight changes to allow for social distancing. No students should be dropped off before 8 o'clock this year. We'll have a different procedure for breakfast, so there's no reason to have students be dropped off prior to the 8:30. From 8:30 to 8:50, they will come in and they will be greeted by our amazing teachers and staff at Viola Gibson at the different doors so that we can allow for more social distancing and to allow for students to use the hand sanitizer. And then they will report immediately to their classroom. Since parents won't be allowed into the classrooms this year, that first day could be a little bit sad, especially for those of us who have really young ones and our kindergarten parents. So really just practicing with your student to let them remind them that they will be dropped off at the door, given their hug, and heading. We'll have the staff here to get them ready to their classroom. So the fact that we can't have volunteers this year is also a huge loss for us here at Viola Gibson because we rely on so many incredible volunteers throughout the year to help us. This might change as we get throughout the year and as things maybe get better with the COVID. But right now, we will start the year with no visitors or volunteers in the building this year. We'll be reaching out to you definitely to help us with some ways that you could volunteer outside of the classroom this year. Let's just walk to one of our doors so parents can see what it will look like when their students arrived. Again, doors will be open at 8:30. We're hoping by opening them 10 minutes earlier, we will be able to provide that help with the social distancing. As students are dropped off, they will enter right into their building after having their hands sanitized, and they will go straight to their rooms using the social distancing dots that are in our hallways to help them guide. They can kind of picture where that 6 feet distancing is. As they come in, I'm going to show you what it would look like if they come into the building. You'll notice the 6-foot decals. You'll see that they're 6 feet apart, the arrows showing them the directions they're going to go. Let's just take a peek into a couple of our classrooms right now so that you can see what they might look like. Keep in mind our teachers are not back on contract yet until Wednesday of this week. So they're starting to get things kind of set up, but not all ready. You'll notice in the classrooms when we take a peek that all of the tables are not 6 feet apart. At the elementary level particularly, we can get about 4 feet distance with our students, but we are doing the very best that we can to get the number of students that we need to have in our classroom. Notice too that they all will be facing the same direction and they'll be using their own materials. PTA has graciously purchased some plastic that we're going to work on trying to build some barriers for those students that share a table so that we can have those pieces in place. So back to where students arrive and which doors they used. I'm going to ask you to refer to the implementation plan that we did with the aerial maps of where the doors are and which grade levels we'll place. We will also have this information sent to you again about arrival and dismissal procedures along with some of the COVID addendums that were part of our handbook. So they will give you the specifics. They'll give you exactly which door your child will be at. So just making sure that you take a look at that map. Let's talk a little bit about what restrooms will look like this year. For classrooms that do not have restrooms in their classrooms, they will be taking scheduled breaks to allow cleaning around the sinks and the faucet areas of those shared spaces. Also, you'll notice that the drinking fountains have been turned off for this year. We're asking that students bring their own water bottles marked with their names. The filling stations will be working for students to fill up their water bottles. The bottles that don't have to be opened all the way for them are the best so that we're not having spills. And if, for example, you are unable to provide a water bottle, we will provide them their first one for them. Again, jet the restrooms too, that will be taught about hand washing. We'll have the hand sanitizer as well, since we can't tell the students are always washing their hands for the appropriate amount of time. So kids will be making sure that they hand sanitize their hands when they enter back into the classroom as well. Recess this year is going to look a lot different for our kids as well. Prior to going out for recess, they will hand sanitize their hands, and then they will also do that again when they come back into the building. We'll have different quadrants with their classrooms, and we will have equipment bags that each classroom will use, so that we're not sharing equipment across classrooms. And grade levels will work out a rotating schedule so that students will experience the different quadrants. This way we keep our groups together and eliminate the number of students that they will come in contact with each day. Let's talk a little bit about the clinic this year and what that's going to look. As part of the Return to Learn plan, we needed to designate a system to allow for separation of those students who might exhibit COVID symptoms from those students who are coming from medications, Band-Aids, those kinds of things. So if a student in the classroom shows symptoms that they might be COVID related, they will be given a red card by their classroom teacher, so that then that way when they come to the clinic, we know which area they will need to report to. The clinic will have a curtain divider to separate the clinic, and our health secretary and our nurses will have the proper PPE equipment in the clinic, and we'll have a separate area for these students to wait until a parent can be notified and picked up from school. If a student is coming to the clinic for medication or other non-COVID related things, they will be given a blue card so that the office knows which area they will report to when they arrive. This year, it's going to be extremely important that we are true partners in helping to keep everyone healthy and safe. All parents need to make sure that they're screening their child's temperature prior to arriving at school, and if they have any temperature or other symptoms without any use of medications, that you are not sending your child to school for the day. Dismissal this year will look very similar to last year with just a few changes. We will be sending again more information about our arrival and dismissal, so be paying close attention to those things. But basically, we will be staggering our dismissal so that we're eliminating the number of students in our halls. This will also include teachers staggering students to get items from their lockers. So we'll be dismissing groups over the intercom, and teams and staff monitoring areas to help with the social distancing. And we want to be sure to end our kids' day on a really positive note with celebrating them and telling them a great job, so that will help with those adult space throughout the halls as well. So just keep in mind, look for that map. We'll start with our PK and our AK bus students calling by color, and then we'll dismiss walkers using the multiple doors. So again, parents, if you are picking up your student as a walker, please be reminded that you need to wear your masks if you are out of your vehicle, and set a designated spot that you will meet them outside, since you will not be allowed in the building to wait. So really talk with your child about where they're going to wait for you if you are picking them up to walk home. Open house this year. So sad that we won't be able to have that this year. So we are asking students to bring in their supplies with them the first day of school. For those who have purchased supplies last spring, your child's supplies will be waiting for you in the classrooms. For those that have not purchased those items, please just bring in your school supply portion of the supplies the first day. It could be really cumbersome for kids to have to be carrying multiple things like Kleenex and hand sanitizer, and things that wouldn't necessarily need to be brought in the first day. Just trickle those out through the week. I want to end this video letting you know we are getting really geared up here at Viola Gibson, and want to make sure it's going to be a great year for all of our students and staff. We didn't get to say goodbye to our kids in the spring, so we can't wait to see them. Together, we're going to make this a great year. I know it will take endurance and flexibility and support, but I am very optimistic that we can do it. Please let me know if you have any questions or any feedback. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.